what's going on, guys? We did this last year with Black Ops Cold War, but I just kind of wanted to hop on, have some gameplay going in the background, and kind of give my final thoughts on Call of Duty Vanguard. So here we are at the end of the year. You know how it goes. Another year, another Call of Duty, and yeah, we're at the end of Vanguard's life cycle already, which is pretty crazy, honestly. It feels like Vanguard did not come out that long ago, and I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it really didn't. You know, that's kind of the problem with a yearly franchise. It's not like the game's out for an incredibly long time. It's only a year before the next one comes out, but apparently after Modern Warfare 2, we won't have another Call of Duty until 2024, so, I mean, that won't be the case for much longer. But there's one sentence I would like to say right now that would probably describe Vanguard pretty well, just in a nutshell. Right now, I am playing as Raul Menendez, which is a character from 2025, and then I'm using a gun from 2065, playing in a map from 1942. So if you're not catching my drift here, I'm just trying to say, like, this game has a bit of an identity crisis. It started out trying to be a real gritty World War II game, just like World War II from 2017, and it really didn't fly with the audiences. You know, I can understand, you know, Sledgehammer wanting to go in and make a real gritty World War II game, or at least advertising it as that, but you know how the public is, you know how the core Call of Duty audiences, they aren't about that. Ever since Advanced Warfare with the freaking clown suit, it's never been the same. But beyond that, beyond all the crazy bundles and skins and things that are definitely not from this era that have been introduced into the game, I thought this game was pretty good through and through, so this is definitely going to be more of a subjective video. I mean, if you want an objective look at Call of Duty Vanguard, I'm sure there's plenty of those on YouTube, but I'm here to just kind of give my subjective opinion on everything. So we'll break down the game like piece by piece. First, we'll start with the campaign. Personally, the campaign to me was everything that a Call of Duty campaign should be. Was the writing, you know, spot on and top notch, or were the characters there spot on and top notch? No, I mean, like, you know, the original Modern Warfare characters, or even the rebooted Modern Warfare characters, and any of the Black Ops characters definitely stomp the Vanguard ones any day. But again, this is a new crew, so of course that's to be expected, you know. I mean, yeah, I mean, even personality-wise, you know, they're definitely never gonna reach the heights of like David Mason and Woods and Captain Price and Soap. But I mean, I don't think they were as bad as everybody said they were. Like, I thought Arthur having that cool like leader position, I don't know, I really dug his personality. Thought he had a cool vibe. I love Polina and her just kind of being that hard shit Russian that nobody can mess with. Like, I loved that. There were some pretty good set pieces. In terms of like flow of the game, pacing wasn't exactly the best. I feel like the whole flashback thing kind of messed up the pace here and there, but all in all, I think it was a decent campaign. I'd give it a good like 6, 7 out of 10, whereas for my scale, like a Black Ops 1 or a Black Ops 2 would be a 10 out of 10. Multiplayer and zombies are two very weird things to talk about, because at the launch compared to now with the final season, it's two completely different beasts. So if we are to just dive into the multiplayer, I mean, from launch up until now, I feel like it stayed good. Like, for me, this is basically just 2019 Modern Warfare with a World War II coat of paint, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, that's not a diss from me. I love 2019 Modern Warfare. Personally, that's one of my favorite Call of Duties of all time, as, you know, as controversial or hot take as that may be to say. I thought that game was freaking amazing, and I had just as much fun playing this game. The only thing holding this one back is the same thing that's been holding Call of Duty back since, I'd say, Black Ops 3 is where it started, but it really started picking up with Modern Warfare 2019, is the whole SBMM deal. Not a huge fan of that, but besides that, I mean, everything still works. I feel like they just took everything from Modern Warfare and Cold War in terms of like the way that the seasons are rolled out, and kind of just improved it in some ways, except for one aspect, and that would be the maps. I feel like we've got less maps in this game, or at least it feels that way, because I could have swore in MW and Cold War we got more maps with each season. This one, it feels like we got a bit less, but when it comes to like introducing new weapons and like the progression from season 1 up to the final season, where like the weapons and battle passes get crazier and cooler, I feel like in that aspect, in terms of the progression, it was pretty good. Again, I know all this is like hot takes and controversy or whatever. Feel free to roast me in the comments or be like, oh, your opinion's wrong, I'd never leave my room, but like, I don't care. If anything, you're just driving up my engagement, and it's going to help this get out to more people in the algorithm and get it in the recommended, so thank you. Talk all the trash you want. I'll make sure to heart your comment and respond back to drive up that engagement even more. You're doing me a favor. I really don't know what to say about multiplayer. Is a hard one to talk about. It's always kind of just the same thing every year, you know. It's, you unlock gun, you shoot people in face, you get score streak, you level up in prestige. I know it's not the classic prestige everybody likes, but I mean, it's still technically prestiging. The maps I thought were good in this game. As the seasons went on, they definitely catered towards more of that shipment Das House playstyle, where you get the really small chaotic maps, and I dug it. I thought it was cool. I have a lot of fun playing those maps. And the new map, Beheaded, are you kidding me? Fighting inside the giant head of, like, the fallen Statue of Liberty? That is, like, badass. The only complaint I have about the multiplayer is something that everybody's been complaining about for years at this point since, what was it, MW 2019, maybe Black Ops 4. The announcers, I just wish that we had more variety to them. Like, back in MW2, you had different announcers for, like, each region, depending on what map you were playing, what country you were fighting for, but between, like, Cold War and this game. In this game, it's even worse than Cold War, because I think in Cold War, there was at least 2 different announcers. In this game, there's literally only 1, and I understand with the different operators, they're all coming from different regions, so it's kind of hard to tell who's going to be playing as what, but in that case, I'd say maybe depending on what region each operator is from, have that be a different announcer. So for each operator from, say, like Germany, have it be a German announcer. From each American, have it be an American person. You know, be like, "Hoorah, Marines, go kick some ass." And then if it's the Germans, be like, "Oh, Scheiße, they're kicking our asses. Take the fight back." Outside of that, there wasn't any, like, standout bad maps besides, like, maybe Red Star. And that map was just way too big for its own good. The weapons felt good. Like, this engine in general, it really kind of narrows down what you have to complain about, because when you have an engine, a baseline that is as good as this and as smooth as this, it's like, I don't know, for me personally, it's just kind of hard to complain. Like, the gameplay just saves it, even for any flaws that could be there. Only thing I'll say, though, the Molotov, Thermite, can't see the map, and dog spam, that got a little annoying after a little bit while. Now, the most controversial topic of the day, Call of Duty Vanguard Zombies. So, this one's a weird one. Duran Fang came out, and everybody considers that to be the worst map of all time. That and Terrible Shit Dick, whatever that map is called, God. Look, I don't hate on zombies maps, like, ever. I mean, even me, I liked Duran Fong, but Terra Maledicta, or whatever everybody calls it, that map is just, it's awful. Terra Maledicta should be the example for exactly not to do with a zombies map if you're developing one. It's way too big. Obviously, it's not even the normal round base. The Easter egg sucks. Everything drags out. It just drags on for way longer than it should. It's boring. The boss spam is annoying with all the Sturmkriegers and Zabalas, and especially before the Zabala nerf when she had all the immune states, that map was just unbearable. I kid you not, I haven't really even touched Terra Maledicta since launch. I played it like 2 or 3 times and that was it. I went right back to Duran Fang until Shina Numa came out. But once this map, Shina Numa, came out, I feel like Vanguard Zombies definitely started heading in the right direction. Unfortunately, the Archon, the final map, totally squashed all of that and completely ruined it, which is very unfortunate and sad to see. But Shina Numa is a great baseline for what Vanguard Zombies could have been. And it genuinely kind of makes me want to cry knowing that with how good this map is, because I don't care what anybody says, this map is good. Objectively, it is good. You want to know why it's good? Because it's based on an objectively good map from 15 years ago. That's why they remade it. And plus all the assets were already in the game from Duran Fong, so, I mean, it's easy. Well, less work for them. But seriously, the Easter egg in this map felt like a classic Easter egg. It wasn't like Cold War where it was too easy, because Vanguard Zombies in itself is a bit harder than Cold War, but it was still, like, fun enough to not be, you know, ridiculously just boring from how much you're dying. It's not like the Dark Souls of Easter eggs, but it's also not like the easiest thing ever. So I thought the Easter egg was pretty balanced. I thought the boss fight, it wasn't obviously no Dorizen Drock or, you know, Mesosophiles or whatever it's called. But I thought that it was still decent enough. Like, it was still good. And the quotes and the storyline that was happening alongside it, you know, you hear the quotes of, like, Syraxis and the other demons talking and stuff. And, you know, kind of made you feel for it. It was actually pretty good there. Brought back the Wunderwaffe, and at first it sucked, but then they finally went ahead and buffed the reload speed, or nerfed it, however you want to say it. They made the reload speed shorter. Anybody that used the Wunderwaffe at launch knows how freaking slow that reload was. It was ridiculous. I barely even ever used it because of how much I was having to reload the dang thing. But now that they nerfed the speed, or buffed the speed, however you want to call it, and made it, you know, not so unbearable, it's actually a lot of fun to use. And I have fun genuinely hopping in and just going for high rounds on this map. It's been a long time since I just hop in for high rounds without any other goal, but this map brought me back to doing that. Unfortunately, as I said, though, the Archon squandered all of that. And if you're wondering what the Archon is, if you haven't seen it, it's essentially... No, it's not essentially. It is Terra Maledicta, but they put a green tint over the map and then switched it to round-based, and that was it. It is absolutely terrible as a map, but the Easter egg is phenomenal. If you're interested in hearing more of my thoughts on the Archon, you can go watch my video from a few nights ago called This Ain't It, and then in parentheses it says Call of Duty Vanguard Zombies Rant. It's really not it. Like I said, it's literally Terra Maledicta with a green tint and a round-based formula, and it does not work. The map sucks, but again, the Easter egg is freaking amazing. The steps are pretty simple. You just have to do these 3 trials, but the trials in themselves are challenging. Not too challenging to be, like, infuriating, and it's a genuine fun time. I've done it multiple times, once each day since the game has come out. Like, I seriously love it so much, and the boss fight is so good. At first, I was kind of dissing it in that video I made the other day, but after playing it a few more times, it's actually really good. Like, it's really fun, it's really engaging, aesthetically it's cool, the soundtrack that's going at the same time, and like, I don't know, the filter they have on Cortefex's voice, like, it sounds really cool. Fortunately though, the ending of the Easter egg, you know, the big final blowout for Vanguard zombies, it's... Okay, so pretend I'm Nordicus, and literally, I kid you not, the ending of the entirety of Vanguard Zombies, of this whole game, the big moment everything's been leading up to, is literally Nordicus just being like, "We defeated him. He's banished to the edge of the dark ether." And then just like a bunch of drops show up and you get your Wonder Off and that's it. But immediately after the Easter egg, I always end up exfilling, because after that dope Easter egg and that amazing boss fight, the map is, well, it's impossible for it to be a good map, because it's based on a really shitty foundation. You know, the original Terminal Addicta sucked. And can we also mention how they remastered a map that was released within the same game just 6 months before? No. I just realized that's technically what Shino Numa is too, because it was in Duran Fang, and that was released at the game's launch and then just re-released. Oh my god. Half of this game's content was re-released and sold as... Wow. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments for sure. But as always, a shout out to the Patreons, Kermit's Favorite Grandma, and Lil Booty Tap. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you guys back in tomorrow at 7. Thank you for watching. I love you all. Stay beautiful and have an amazing day. Peace.